everyone. Welcome to Fun with Art with Jeanne B. Today we have a holiday special, and I'm so excited to invite you all in to take this time with us, because I know it's so crazy out there and we're rushing around, and sometimes we just need to take time for ourselves and do something fun. And Fun with Art that's what we're here for. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Cynthia Fontaine. She has actually a show. It's called Empowered You. By psychic Cynthia Fontaine. I'm going to do one section of art, and she is going to do fresh art. Fresh art?
A fresh arrangement.
A fresh arrangement. That makes more sense, right? But first of all, I wanted to just to say thank you. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the shares. Thank you for sharing it with your friends and your family, and having fun with me doing the art that I love to do. But I also wanted to make a special shout out too. I have 5 grandchildren, and they're all wonderful. But I have a 3-year-old that watches this show on YouTube. And so she mimics whatever I'm doing. So I want to send out a special hello to my granddaughter, Alex. And thank you for being such a fan of Grandma's. I am so happy that you watch my show. And so now, what we're going to do today, 2 different kinds of things. Cynthia used to be a florist in a former life. And so I asked her to come, and she's going to do a fresh arrangements, because I think a lot of times we have these greens in our backyards and we don't know how to use what we have. And we go and we spend lots of money, because I don't know about you, but if you go to the grocery store and try to buy a little package of greens, I mean, they're quite expensive. And sometimes we're afraid to buy them because we don't know. So I want you to take a chance. Go cut your little branches off the tree. Cynthia will tell you all how to do that. And that way you can make some pretty arrangements for your tree. Now, I chose to do the artificial ones. And the reason I did that was because I never realized that people could have allergies to pine. I had one of my students came over for the holiday dinner. And her partner, she said, "Do you have a real Christmas tree?" And I said, "I do." She says, "Okay, because he can't go in that room. We'll see if he can handle your house." I said, "What?" He was allergic to pine, and even the pine tree, he had a reaction to. So I said, well, you know, I understand that, and I just wanted to do a couple of things so that we can make it comfortable for everybody. Now, this has been a sensation on the internet all through the holiday season. You get these at the dollar store. They're very simple. I mean, you can use them as a regular tree, that's fine. But what people have been doing is they've been taking the 2 ends. I'm just going to put this over here. And you can either put them together with these. I don't know if you've ever seen them. You can buy them at any craft store during the holiday seasons. And they have a wire in them so they can bend, all right? And you can use them as a twisty. Or you can get these things and use these. They make it a little bit tighter, and you'll be able to put it together. So all you do is you take the 2 ends like this. Now you can extend it like this and put it down this middle if you want a really long one. And then of course you're gonna have to cover this. Or you can put it together like this, and in between, I can never get this right, so just bear with me. I always have the wrong end and it slips
with
out.
With the zip tie, yeah.
And then you just pull it tight, okay? See? And then you can do it again. I like these. See, I did it wrong.
Well, there are different size zip ties.
Right.
It could be that one doesn't, they have little bumps.
Oh.
So it might be that one doesn't have all the bumps all the way down.
Oh, well, okay.
Sorry,
you can use these.
But if you have to
I'm
get
gonna
shorter
use
ones.
these, yeah. I'm going to use these, and all you do is twist them.
Easy.
A lot easier, you know. If you have those, use them. If you don't, just, you know, sometimes we have to do things differently, right? During the holiday season, we have to make adjustments for everyone, and we have to make adjustments for ourselves, because we really don't want to go crazy trying to get those stupid things on when you can't. So all you have to do is twist this. All right, so now what do I do with it? Does it look like a centerpiece? Not at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these out.
I call that fluffing.
They're fluffing. I'm fluffing my stems. And these will just blend right in. So we're going to fluff all these stems. Now, the one I did at home, actually, Cynthia, you saw it. It really came out very pretty. You didn't even know it was this what I did.
I did not know,
I know.
it was 2 trees from the dollar store.
Yeah.
It did come out very
It
pretty.
came out very pretty.
I was very surprised.
So you have to take your time and do it. Now, what I did with mine at home, I took a piece of wood, and underneath this, I glued it. So that way I could pick it up and move it from wherever I wanted it to go. So you can do that. So you put the piece of wood like that, you glue it, hold it down, because it's going to take a few minutes, okay? Have patience. Like we're supposed to have during the holidays, have some patience. It's all good, all right?
And where do they get the wood?
The wood you can get at any craft store.
Okay.
I mean, but if you cut your Christmas tree and you got the bottom piece,
The bottom piece, you could
it's all
do
good.
that too, yeah.
Wood is wood.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the round, you can use the square, whatever you have. Just any kind of base. You can use a dish, whatever you want, but you want it to have something that it can balance on. Then once you do that, what I did was I took this foam and I glued it to this in the middle, just so that I would have something to stick my baubles to. For instance, like these type of things, because then you want to cover it. The one at home I did, I actually put little fairy lights throughout it, and that turned out really well. So that way it would light itself up at night.
And I just wanted to point out, Jeannie, that the foam that you're using is particularly for dried arrangements.
Absolutely.
Now,
Oops,
what
sorry.
I'm going to use is wet foam.
Right.
So it's specific, because if you use this wet foam for what Jeannie's doing,
It won't work.
the flowers won't, the arrangements won't hold.
Right.
But if you use that foam for a fresh arrangement, then your flowers are going to die.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you have to make sure you get the right foam.
Thank you, Cynthia.
You're
I
welcome.
forgot about that. So basically, this is what you're doing. All right, and you're going to make a centerpiece. You can fluff these out. You can put little more things in throughout here, little baubles, however you want to decorate it, right? And you have a cheap, inexpensive centerpiece for like $3. It's all good.
Wow. And just, I mean, you did that so quickly. I know it's not obviously
Right, yeah.
finished, but it already looks like you could use it.
Right, exactly. And you just do a little finishing touches and you're good. And this way you don't have to worry about it, especially if you have allergies, because a lot of times people do have allergies
Right.
and they wonder why their nose is running when they come to visit you. That's why. Now,
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to show you another thing that really quick. And Cynthia, when I took it out, she said, "Oh, that's really cute."
I love
said,
this.
I said, "Yeah." I said, I was sitting there, and I was like, I was tired of making wreaths. I can't tell you how many wreaths I made this year. I was tired of making wreaths, so I had one little wreath contained thing back. Now you can get these. I think I got these at the dollar store. There were 2 of them tied together for like $1.50, $1.75. And then I had these little plastic plates. I'm like, okay, let me see. Does this fit? Oh my goodness, it fits. So what I did was, I did not use the hot glue. I used E600, and I just put it around here. I set this on, and I let it set, so that way it would hold. And then you have your base for your centerpiece. And so what I did then was I just took the foam, glued that foam down, and then I had all these extra Christmas balls, all pieces of greenery, I don't know if like this, all right, that I had to use up, that I had cut off of things and all throughout the year. And so what I did was I just took it and I started just sticking the greenery in. I started putting the balls, and I found these trees, and I said, well, let me see if I'll stick those in the middle. The key is to play with it, manipulate it, make sure it works the way you want it to. Have fun with it. Putting the little balls in, glue them. One doesn't doesn't look right. Use something different. This was to use up a lot of my extra things that I hadn't had left over. So, that's how we do things in life, right? Sometimes you just have to pivot and do something differently. And if you want to, have fun with it. So now I'm going to send you over to Cynthia. She's going to do an arrangement made out of fresh greens.
Yeah, and I love how you took just odds and ends of things that you had, especially the little greens.
Yeah.
And look at the beautiful centerpiece that
Yeah,
you
it was just a
created.
bag of all little things that I had cut, and I had saved them. I said, I'll use these for something. And so how many times we have a bunch of stuff we don't know what to do, we're ready to throw it out. Save it. It comes in handy.
Yeah,
So,
beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. So now my record for making an arrangement is 13 minutes, but I'm
Okay.
a little out of practice. So
Well,
we'll
let's
see
see.
how this goes. So you can take any container. I have different things here that I brought. There's some baskets. There's this. This actually was an edible arrangement container that I spray painted because I liked the container. And I thought that would be cute for Christmas. Now, if you're doing a centerpiece for the table, you want to make sure it's low because you don't want to be looking through it to try to talk to people. Now, I have a finished one here that I whipped up before I came. And this is just a basket and a square basket. And you can see it's maybe a little bit high for the table, but it's just, I thought it looked cute the way it was. So you can make it lower if you want to.
Now you've got these all from your yard? Or?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
see, I mean, all you have to do is go out in your yard, look around. You can trim some bushes.
Yeah, and you know, if you don't have things in your yard that you can clip, you can find things that you can clip along the roadway. Just be careful if you're doing that kind of thing.
Wear some gloves, because sometimes you remember if it's out in the open, there's little buggies.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you're not on private property clipping somebody's things. So this is a quick finished one. And now I didn't have a lot of flowers to put in, but sometimes I'll go more simple and sometimes I'll load it up with flowers. But we don't have a lot of time today, so I'm going to show you how I start. I start with the container. You take your floral foam, the wet foam. You're going to take it, and first you could cut it if you want first. That would make it easier for you if you're only making one arrangement. So I would measure, I would cut it, and then I'm gonna soak it in warm water, not cold, not hot, but warm water, and put flower food in the water before you submerge your foam. Now you wanna make sure that the foam is wet all the way through. A lot of people make the mistake of not leaving it in the water long enough, and you don't wanna push it down. If you do that, you're going to get a false thing that you're going to think it's
Now, will the foam expand?
No.
Okay.
Great question. The foam does not expand.
I thought it was going to be like one of those little things, you know, those
yeah, the kids have. No, the foam won't expand. So once you cut it, it's cut.
Good. Okay.
And you can see in this one, I have 2 pieces of foam just because I didn't want to cut a new bar, and I had 2 pieces that fit perfectly. Now, I always tape my foam in, especially if you're going to move it around. And you can see with this one, I didn't cross over right at the center of the foam because I always put stems in the center of the arrangement. So I kind of go off center a little bit. You can get floral tape on Amazon. You can get it from Michael's, and you can even get it at a florist shop if you wanted. Now I've already cut some of these smaller, and these I just went out in my yard and picked them out of my yard. I have this big evergreen thing, so it doesn't, you know, you don't have to be particular. If it's greenery and it looks nice, you can just pick it and put it in. The key to making it last longer is you want to push the stems in as far as you can, because you're going to fill this up with water, and the stems should be under the water. They last longer that way.
Plus, too, I would imagine you've got to make sure that your container doesn't have a hole in it.
Oh, well, yeah,
drainage.
That's always good. You should not use a container. You know, yes. So you can actually buy, like in this one, there's a little 6-inch plastic container that I bought on Amazon. Sometimes these goods used to be easier to find locally, but it's getting harder to. So I always start with my foundation or base here, and you want to make sure that you strip the bottom of the stems. You don't want to have the greens in the foam, because that will create bacteria that will actually shorten the lifetime of your arrangement. So now this one's kind of wily, it's big. I'm going to clip some pieces off of here, and I sort of go around the perimeter. My big pet peeve that I always had when I had the floor shop was you get arrangements and you can see the foam, or the back of the arrangement isn't finished. So you'll have flowers in the front of the arrangement, but then the back of the arrangement is bare. You know, you might have a couple of greens in it. That was always a huge pet peeve when I owned the florist shop, that my arrangements were always finished, including flowers in the back of the arrangement. And anyway, my then husband used to get mad at me for that, but I said no, because it gives it a finished look.
Absolutely.
And so obviously if you're doing a centerpiece, you want something that looks good all around the whole table. So go around the edges here, and I actually don't like this one here. I'm gonna take that out. It's sticking up too high. So I'm gonna replace that with something that is not quite so high, because it's on the end. That's better. And then I always do a center point. So I have some boxwood here, and I want to see how tall do I want to make this. Again, if it's going on a table, you want to make it lower. I'm going to make this one, well, a smidge higher, just because this probably is not going to be a centerpiece. It's going to be on a side table. So I'm going to stick some boxwood in, and I have a variety of different greens. I've got some cedar.
Oh, pretty.
I've got some, this is preserved eucalyptus.
Oh.
I have boxwood. I have some white pine. I have holly.
I thought that was just grass.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is white pine.
Wow.
This is a little bit tricky because it's bendy.
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
is really actually probably good more for like wreaths and things like that.
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I know. I'm like, okay, I'll just start sneezing.
Oh no, are you allergic to pine?
No.
Oh, okay. So now I get my center organized, and now I'm going to start filling in the other areas. Okay, so that looks like a nice piece. And I like to use a variety of greens because it gives you more visual interest. The other thing is when you use a variety of greens, you don't necessarily, now this one's Jupiter. I don't know if you can see the berries
Right,
on it.
yeah.
But see, it's the
I do,
juniper.
yeah.
Juniper. Did I say Jupiter?
Yeah, you did. It's okay.
I'm thinking astrology.
Yeah.
Sorry, juniper. So this is the juniper. I'm just going to put some, and you see how I'm going lower, right? Where I'm putting the taller ones, and then as I'm working it in, I'm making it sort of
So
symmetrical.
maybe you always think of like a high point and then go down, so like a triangle.
Right, exactly, because that's going to give you your overall shape.
Right.
And then you're going to fill it all in. And once you have your greens all filled in, again, I do not want to see the foam.
Right.
Because I just think it doesn't look professional. So I really load up the greens.
Now, do you suggest maybe if they don't have enough greens, you know that stuff you can buy, it's filler.
Moss or
Yeah, like a moss. Some of it's like brown and
Yeah.
putting that in. Would that affect the arrangement at all, like the absorption of the water or anything?
So you can definitely use that. You can use Spanish moss. You can use, there's all kinds of mosses that you
Right.
can use. You can use that. You just have to be careful that the moss doesn't go over the edge of your container because it might drip, because you are going to fill this up with water.
True.
And so it might drip. So that's the only thing. I do sometimes use it if I need to fill in.
Well, I was just thinking if people don't have enough greens and they
Yes.
still want to make an arrangement,
Yeah.
not to deter them from doing that, they could use other fillers in there. I mean, for me, I would put probably balls, like Christmas balls.
Yeah. Well,
or something in it that I had around the house,
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see on this one that this one doesn't have a lot of stuff, but I put the pine cones in and the ribbon, but you can see how tight this is.
Right.
Where you can't see the foam on here.
Yeah.
So I do fill with green, but if they don't have it, that's okay because
Because there are other options you can use. You
right.
know?
And the things that you do put in will cover some of that.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just sticking some more greens in here. And the deeper you get the greens, again, the longer your arrangement is going to last.
Now, how long will an arrangement last, Cynthia, when in the house like that?
So one like this with fresh greens could last weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, because the evergreens tend to last longer than some of the other things that you would use in arrangements like leather leaf or different
I always had a hard time with them like drying out.
Yeah, well, that's because they don't put the stems all the way to the foam.
Especially when they make those beautiful box trees.
Yes, the boxwood trees.
They always dry out.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
gosh.
because if you think about it, right?
Now that you're saying that, I understand why, because they can't possibly go in that way. So that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why the boxwood trees don't last as long,
Right.
because they're not actually submerged in the water. The foam is wet,
Right,
but
but
what
they
happens?
can't,
Yeah, but they're not actually getting a water source because you can't with the boxwood trees, the
Yeah.
Christmas trees. So I'm sticking a little holly in here, and I usually turn it around so I can see both sides and see where I need to fill in and what else I need to add. Okay, so I'm almost out of greens on the table. I might have to bend down and get some more. Jeannie, do you have something else you want to show them?
Nope. I'm good.
So this is white spruce. It is a little bit prickly, I
Oh,
will
how pretty.
say, but it smells so good. And this particular evergreen does last for a really long time. Now, if you strip this with your fingers, you got to be careful that you don't, poke yourself with the ends because it is a little ouchy. And I always strip because, again, If you just stick it in the foam, it's going to create bacteria, and your arrangement is not going to last.
That's
as
good
long.
to know because you don't realize that it will cause bacteria.
Yeah.
You know, we forget sometimes, you know, things like that will cause different effects. You know, if you put water, you put organic material in it, of course it's going to grow something.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Now I have a stripper, a rose stripper that sometimes I will use on my evergreens that I forgot to bring, but you can probably buy that on Amazon or whatever, but you don't need to. The other thing, you can cut them off if you can't strip them. You can just cut them off and that's good enough. But again, it's important to get rid of those greens that are going in the foam. Now you can see, look how nice that looks already.
That
oh,
looks
the
so
backside
cute.
looks pretty good too.
It does. It looks
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well, you know, I think that's a very good point with you know, sticking it in the foam with the making sure that it's just the stem, because yeah, that makes a whole big difference about how it's going to survive in the foam.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you're going to fill
Yeah.
this up with water.
Yeah.
Once not before the arrangement's done, but once the arrangement's done, you're going to fill it up with water. And the reason why you don't want to do it before is because
Messy.
And the water's going to spill all over because
Yeah.
you think about you're putting more stuff in
Well,
there.
you know, the reason I'm emphasizing that, because I don't know about anybody else, but I've had problems where I've had arrangements and whatever, and then after maybe Christmas or after a few days, few weeks, you would start to smell like must, and then I realized that it was the arrangement.
Oh, interesting.
You know, the arrangement grew mold.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it makes much more sense to take the precautions and especially that preservative you put in it as well.
Right.
You put this in the foam that you
Yes.
soak.
Yes, and then I also put it in the water
In the
before
water.
I fill up the container.
Okay.
So you can get these, if you buy flowers to
Yeah,
put
they
in your
come in it,
arrangement,
yeah.
it comes with the flowers.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. I'm sure there's some place where you can
You
buy
can get them at
also.
Stop and Shop, or the market,
someplace.
any markets that
Yeah.
have flowers, you can get them.
Yeah.
So now these wooden picks didn't come wired, so I actually have to wire, and I didn't cut that wire long enough. So I actually have to add a wire so I can add my pine cone. And it's really simple to do. So I just have this brown wire. I like the brown just because it's
I
covered.
don't think they can see you, Cynthia.
Oh, I like the brown just because it's covered and it doesn't hurt your fingers to wind. So I take my stick, I've wrapped the wire around the pine cone, and then I have twisted it so it holds on tightly. And then I take this wire and I wrap it around the stem. Now, this might not stay just like this with the pick, and I make sure I go up and over so that way it's over the top of where I started with the pine cone. And then because I like to finish things having 4 planets in Virgo,
It's all good.
I will take this is, you can buy in Michael's, it's floral tape. It's not sticky, but the key to this is as you wrap it, you have to make sure that you pull it because it stretches, and that's what makes it stick. If you don't stretch it as you're wrapping it, then it'll just fall off because it sort of activates the stickiness.
Well, you know, I got the brainstorm. I had gotten a bunch of pine cones this summer, and I spray painted them all different colors. And I've been just trying to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do with them.
Yeah.
And so what I decided to do, just watching you, is I see them all on the internet, and now I know how to put them together. I put the wire in the stem, and I can make a bouquet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, one of my friends ordered these, but she didn't realize that they should have
the
had
wire.
wires on them. And somehow or other, the ones that we did a wreath making thing, and the ones that I bought with the wires ended up with her, and I ended up with the ones without the wires.
Bummer.
But that's okay because I know how to make it work.
All right,
Okay.
you got 4 minutes.
Okay,
3
so I
minutes.
want to really quickly teach you how to make an awesome ribbon.
Yay, because I can't. That's one thing I can't do. Even when I taught hairdressing school and I taught school, I could not make a braid and I can't make a bow.
Okay, so here's the trick, because what happens, I like a big ribbon.
Right.
What happens is it gets too bulky in the middle.
Yeah.
So you make a loop and you twist it. And that way, you're also going to have your glitter on the same side on each of the ribbon. If you don't twist it, you're going to end up where the glitter is not on top. So now you're going to twist it, and you can make as many loops as you want. And I always make the same size on each side as I'm looping. And then I sometimes will get a little bit bigger as my loops are going along. And I usually make, it depends, at least 3 loops on either side.
Right.
Sometimes I'll make more depending on what I'm doing. If I'm doing a big wreath, then I'll make more. And then, so again, you twist, hold your finger and twist it, put your finger on top of the twist to hold it, and then you repeat it until you get as many loops as you want. And then you take a piece of wire. If I had a pick with wire, I would do that, use the pick with the wire, but since I just have the wire, I'm gonna take the wire and I'm gonna make it equal on both sides, right in the middle, and I am going to twist that wire. Now I will attach it to the pick. Now I want you to be sure that you get this point because I have to finish things. So I like a finished middle on my ribbon. So I am gonna cut my edge off here and then I'm gonna cut another piece of ribbon and I'm gonna wrap it around the center and I'm gonna end up with 4 trailing tails instead of 2, but this covers the wire and then it gives it a really nice finished display.
Beautiful. So see, people, it's, you know, it's taking things that we don't know or we do know and making them better. So learning, like I just learned how to make a bow. I'm 66 years old. I just learned how to make a bow. It's never too late to learn something new. So trust and do it. Have fun with it, learn. And I want to just thank Cynthia Fontaine for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This has been delightful. I was scared because I don't know how to do that. Now I do. And so learn to make things wonderful. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Show them, Cynthia. It's lovely. And so I thank you all for listening to me and having fun with me this past few months. Keep liking, keep sharing, and have the most wonderful holiday season, however you celebrate it. And I thank you once again from my heart to your heart, and blessings to all. And so it is. Thank you.
So it is.
The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center is located in Newport, Rhode Island. Our mission is to nourish, educate, and support Newport County residents to improve their social, economic, and physical well-being. For more information, please visit our website at mlkccenter.org. We'd love you to come volunteer, or if you need help, please turn to us and we'll be there to support you.
Adoption Rhode Island is a private nonprofit organization dedicated to improving outcomes for children, youth, and young adults in foster care by finding families or other permanent connections. We also provide support service, counseling services for this population. If you're interested in learning more about adoption from foster care or about our support services, please contact us at 401-865-6000 or visit our website at adoptionri.org.